Myself D. Rajni from Matrushi DOE Public School. Back again with yet another interesting but simple to understand topic, that is Kolb's experiential learning. David A. Kolb published his learning style model in 1984, from which he developed his learning style inventory. In today's session, we are going to focus on Kolb's experiential learning theories, 4 processes of learning, 4 stages of learning, 4 learning styles, theory use as a educator, and critique of theory. So the objectives of our today's session is to define experiential learning theory, to revive theoretical backgrounds of Kolb's experiential learning, discuss 4 processes of experiential learning, explain 4 learning stages, discuss 4 learning styles, apply experiential learning theory in education, review critique of theory. Learning is the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience, according to Kolb's. Beginning in the 1970s, David A. Kolb helped to develop the modern theory of experiential learning, drawing heavily on the work of John Dewey, Kurt Lewin, and Jean Piaget. Experiential learning entails a hand-on approach to learning that moves away from just the teacher at the front of the room imparting and transferring their knowledge to students. It makes learning an experience that moves beyond the classroom and strives to bring a more involved way of teaching. Now let us see the experiential learning cycle of Kolb. Kolb's experiential learning cycle theory is typically represented by a 4-stage learning cycle in which the learner touches all the bases. That is, first one, concrete experience. A new experience or situation is encountered or a reinterpretation of existing experience. Second, reflective observation of the new experience. Of a particular importance are any inconsistencies between experience and understanding. Abstract conceptualization. Reflection gives rise to a new idea or a modification of an existing abstract concept the person has learned from his or her experience. The fourth one is active experimentation. The learner applies their idea or ideas to the world around them to see what happens. Now, effective learning is seen when a person progresses through a cycle of 4 stages of first having a concrete experience, followed by observation of and reflection on that experience, which leads to the formation of abstract concepts, analysis and generalizations of conclusions, which are then used to test a hypothesis in future situation, resulting in new experiences in the 4th stage. Views learning as an integrated process, with each stage being mutually supportive of and feeding into the next. It is possible to enter the cycle at any stage and follow it through its logical sequence. However, effective learning only occurs when a learner can execute all 4 stages of the model. Therefore, no one stage of the cycle is effective as a learning procedure on its own. Now let us see the learning styles. Kolb's learning theory sets out 4 distinct learning styles which are based on a 4-stage learning cycle. You can find on your slide. Kolb explains that different people naturally prefer a certain single different learning style. Various factors influence a person's preferred style. For example, social environment, educational experience, or the basic cognitive or genetic structure of the individual. Whatever influences the choice of style, the learning style preference itself is actually the product of 2 pairs of variables. or two separate choices that we make, which Kolb presented as lines on axis, each with conflicting modes at either end. A typical presentation of Kolb's two continuums is that the east-west axis is called the processing continuum, how to approach a task, and the north-south axis is called the perception continuum, our emotional response or how to think or feel about it. Cope believed that we cannot perform both variables on a single axis at the same time, that is, think and feel. Our learning style is a product of these two choice decisions. It's often easier to see the construction of Cope's learning style in terms of a 2 by 2 matrix. Each learning style represents a combination of two preferred styles. The matrix also highlights Kolb's terminology for the four learning styles, that is, diverging, assimilating, and converging, accommodating. It is also popularly known as DECA. DACA. DECA. Let us see one by one. This we can understand with an example of writing competitive exam. We get a concrete experience after writing it. After writing exam, we will reflect upon its various aspects, both good and bad, and do reflective observation on what I did and how can I do it better. It is a reflective observation. And the third stage is we think and conclude with an idea, that is, we will make abstract conceptualization. And the fourth final stage we will implement that idea, and it is called active experimentation stage. Four learning styles according to Kolb's. Knowing a person's or even ourselves learning style enables learning to be oriented according to the preferred method. That said, everyone responds to and needs the stimulus of all types of learning styles to one extent or other. It's a matter of using emphasizes that fits best with the given situation and a person's learning style preferences. Now, accommodating or accommodator way of learners. The accommodating learning style is hands-on and relies on intuition rather than logic. These people use other people's analysis and prefer to take a practical experiential approach. They are attracted to a new challenge and experiences and to carrying out plans. They commonly act on gut instinct rather than logical analysis. People with an accommodating learning style will tend to rely on others for information, then carry out their own analysis. This learning style is prevalent within the general population. Next learning style is called diverging or feeling and watching. These people are able to look at things from different perspectives. They are sensitive, they prefer to watch rather than to do, tending to gather information and use imagination to solve problems. They are best at viewing concrete situation from several different viewpoints. Kolb called this style diverging because these people perform better in situations that require ideas generation, for example, brainstorming. People with the diverging learning style have broad cultural interest and like to gather information. They are interested in people, tend to be imaginative and emotional, and tend to be strong in the arts. People with the diverging style prefer to work in groups, to listen with an open mind, and to receive personal feedback. Third style of learners are known as converging or convergers. People with a converging learning style can solve problems and use their learning to find solutions to practical issues. They prefer technical tasks and are less concerned with people and interpersonal aspects. People with a converging learning style are best at finding practical uses for ideas and theories. They can solve problems and make decisions by finding solutions to questions and problems. People with a converging learning style are more attracted to technical tasks and problems than social or interpersonal issues. A converging learning style enables specialists and technology or technical abilities. People with a converging style like to experiment with new ideas, to stimulate, and to work with practical applications. And the fourth type of learners are known as assimilators. The assimilating learning preference involves a concise, logical approach. Ideas and concepts are more important than people. These people require good, clear explanation rather than a practical opportunity. They excel at understanding wide ranging information and organizing it in a clear, logical format. People with an assimilating learning style are less focused on people and more interested in ideas and abstract concepts. People with this style are more attracted to logically sound theories than approaches based on practical value. This learning style is important for effectiveness in information and science careers. In formal learning situations, people with this style prefer reading, lectures, exploring analytical models, and having time to think things through. We can see various types of learners, like divergers is a combination of concrete experience and reflective observation, that is feeling and watching. Assimilating is a combination of abstract conceptualization and reflective observation, that is thinking and watching. Then converging life learning style is the combination of abstract conceptualization and active experimentation, whereas accommodating or accommodators are combination of concrete experience and active experimentation. These are the four different types of learners who are popularly known as, or the system is popularly known as DACA. DACA. Now let us see the educational implications of Kolb's theory. Both Kolb's learning stages and cycles could be used by teachers to critically evaluate the learning provisions typically available to students and to develop more appropriate learning opportunities. Educators should ensure that activities are designed and carried out in ways that offer each learner the chance to engage in the manner that suits them best. Also, individuals can be helped to learn more effectively by the identification of their lesser preferred learning styles and the strengthening of these through application of the experiential learning cycle. Ideally, activities and materials should be developed in ways that draw on abilities from each stage of the experiential learning cycle and take the students through the whole process of sequence. But as we know, no system or no theory or no learning is free of critical analysis or cons. So, experiential learning also comes under the preview of criticism. Some of them, like it does not apply in all learning situations, does not explore nature of knowledge in depth, or the stages of learning may be subsequented differently in different people, cultural consideration are not included, etc., etc. Now I'd like to play a video for all of us based on Kolb's experiential learning.
So we're going to look at Kolb learning cycle and the Kolb learning theory. So Kolb is very widely used on college campuses. David Kolb is the developer of the Kolb learning styles, and he based his research on the theory of Jung, Rogers, and even Piaget. The Kolb learning style model is divided into 4 different styles which derive from a 4-stage learning cycle. This learning theory provides an understanding not just of individual learning, but also on the 4 quadrants, and explains the cycle of learning that can be applied to all learners. Kolb's learning styles are split into 4 general types, including diverger. This is a feeling and watching. We would say CE and RO. Assimilator, which is watching and thinking. A converger, which is doing and thinking. And the accommodator, who does and feels. These are all two-dimensional. Are you getting that? So the diverger learner is both concrete and reflective. These learners search for the answers to why and how. They learn best by observing, gathering information, and avoiding conflict whenever possible. An assimilator prefers the most logical course of action, with their strength being thinking and reflecting, and sometimes they even overact. Logic, organization, and a strong sense of control are essential characteristics for assimilators. They benefit most when given time to reflect on new information. Convergers also prefer to work alone, but with their own ideas. They search for well-defined tasks. They learn by trial and error. This type of learner is an expert problem solver, although they generally like to work independently. They work alone. Lastly, our accommodators are people-oriented. These are our people. They are extroverts. They are the extrovert of that Kolb learning style. So accommodators are action-oriented, they're task-motivated, and they're very creative in their thinking process while they take risks, and they also will avoid routines, right? So these people don't really like routines. They have feeling and intuition, and these are a great value to them. So Kolb continued his research, and he learned that learning itself is on a cycle, and he proposed that learning occurs through experience. So within his theory, experiential learning possesses 6 attributes. The first one is that learning is a process. It's not an end result. Second, learning is a continual process. Third, learning occurs when there are conflicts to be resolved within a learning experience. Fourth, learning is a holistic process. It is looking at the world in the whole thing. Fifth, learning is actually a result of an interaction between an individual and their environment. Lastly, sixth, learning is a process of creating knowledge through experiences. So knowledge is created with an interaction. So within this Kolb learning style, remember that we have those 4 learning modes, and these are concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. Let's look at each of these individually. The concrete experience mode describes people who feel more than they think. Individuals in this mode tend to be very good at relating to others, and they tend to be intuitive decision makers. The reflective observation mode describes people who would rather watch and observe rather than be active participants. These people like the exposure, but they don't really want to get their hands dirty. The abstract conceptualization mode describes people who think more than they feel. These are your scientists, right? These are people who have a scientific approach to problem solving as opposed to that more artistic approach. Lastly, that active experimentation mode describes individuals who take an active role in influencing others as well as situations. These individuals appreciate practical applications rather than reflectively understanding what is happening. They want to participate, not observe. Now, Kolb further stated that within this learning cycle, all 4 processes must be implemented in order for optimal learning to occur. Each mode of the learning cycle indicates one step toward the completion of a full learning experience. Now, listen also, learning is not linear. Therefore, anyone can begin at any point in the cycle, but they would need to go through all of these stages and all of these cycles in order to really complete the learning experience. So how do you determine your learning style in the Kolb learning style? This is a little more difficult than maybe some of the others. So to determine this one, you actually will need a Kolb learning style inventory. It has to be completed. There are some quick assessments which will give you a good idea, but they certainly are not as reliable. The results of the actual inventory are very good, very reliable. And they are going to identify one of your 4 learning style types: accommodating, assimilating, converging, or diverging. A certified inventory report will assist in recognizing the methods of personal learning effectiveness, as well as assisting in guiding an individual in how to best learn their learning style in a work environment, professional, career, a personal, academic. You want to be able to see how you interact in each of these environments.
Now here at this point I'd like to play two videos which I have of subject enrichment, and I hope it will be useful in our classroom transactions.
Good morning, children. Today in this lesson we are going to learn about the major landforms of the earth. Okay, you know what are landforms. In this lesson I will give you an activity. Make a model, take a tray, make a model of all the landforms you know. You can do a research work. I will be dealing with 4 or 5 landforms. The other landforms you are going to make a model and label them and present it as an activity. Or simple, you can just on a take a tray, divide it into 4 parts, you can make the landforms. Okay, let's get back to the lesson. Now you see the map here, the Indian map with the physical features. You see the colorful divisions, physical divisions or geographical divisions of the country. You have the northern mountains, the northern plains, the great Indian desert, the southern or the Deccan plateau, the coastal plains. You have the islands on both the sides. These are the geographical divisions of one country. That means, what did you understand from this? That the land here is not the same throughout. Throughout the country, the land is not, it's uneven. That means it is having some ups and downs. It's not even, it is not distributed even. If you take a country like India, think about the world. Earth, if you see this, earth is made up of 71% of water and 29% of land. Now in this 29% of land, the land is not distributed evenly throughout the world. It is all distributed in an uneven manner. Now this variation is called the relief features. Okay. Now this land, you have these ups and downs. So there are a lot of uneven land distributed. This we divided into and label them as landforms. Now what are the landforms we are going to learn today? You will learn about the mountains, you will learn about the plateaus, the plains, the river valleys. Other than these, the deserts. Other than these, you have bays, gulfs. These are all the water bodies also. You have valleys. But we are going to learn about 5 landforms. I repeat, the mountains, the plateaus, the plains, the deserts and the river valleys.
Today I am going to share with you my subject enrichment activity. If you are new to my channel, subscribe, like, share this video. You can also comment down below. So in this video, I will be sharing you the tips on how to prepare your subject enrichment activity. In this, we were told to do on an A4 size sheet paper. For this, you need to have A4 size sheet. This is how my activity looks like. On the first page, it says Subject Enrichment Activity Social Studies. If your subject is Maths, write Maths. Also, don't forget to put border line around the sheet. It will be very presentable for the teachers to correct it. Also remember that you should write your name, roll number and class. My chapter was Chennai. The teacher told us to do any of the tourist spots of Chennai on an A4 size sheet. I took the second paper to stick my picture and write 5 sentences about it. You should write first the topic. I took Marina Beach because I like beach. Then stick a picture and then below it write 5 sentences about it. If your teacher says to write more than 5 sentences, you should write. If you're not allowed to write with pen or sketch, make sure you use the pencil. Bye!
Now I will be showing you a sample of a Google Sheet which I am maintaining with my students. As you can see on your screen, this is a student's consolidatory report of the work done by the students and uploaded to the Google Sheet with the help of the instructions given by me, in which all the required details like chapter heading, index of roll numbers, names, assessment marks for both online and offline tests, activities, homeworks, and at the end there is a teacher's column with personalized comment in yellow color, you can see, for each student as per the status of the work, and appreciation is given if deserved. It is a very easy way of maintaining a consolidatory with perfect accountability by the students, and in this we can do virtual corrections and make it sure that our students are writing their notes up to date, and if any mistakes are there we can give them feedback. Even this can be used as a repository, as well as we can preserve this as a proof or an evidence to produce it to our authorities or any team which comes for inspection, especially for board classes. It is very easy to maintain and a foolproof medium, which is very helpful. And in the next slide, I'll be sharing with you the instructions how to upload upload by creating a Google Drive link by following the instructions, which I'll be sharing with you in the next screen. Now, before sharing with you the instruction how to upload in a Google Drive, I would like to ask you people to upload any of your sample lesson plan, activity, and assessments done by you by creating a Google Drive link in the Google Sheet link provided to you in the chat below by following the instructions given on your screen. Steps for uploading your notes in the Google Sheet. Open the Cam Scanner app in your phone. Click on the camera icon on the bottom right corner. Third, click the photo of your notes. Fourth step, then crop the photo using the white tracker point on the photo you just took and click next. Then click on save. The next step, the picture you took will be saved, and then repeat the process of other pages of your notes by the clicking the camera icon on the bottom right again. Then after you took the pics of all the notes of a chapter or activities, click on the PDF icon on the screen which you arrive into after clicking the pics. Next, after clicking the PDF icon, click on Share button on the top. Scroll down a little bit and select the Save to Drive option. Next, Rename the file as the name of the chapter and then click Save. Then, after the file is saved or uploaded in your drive, open your Google Drive app and then search for your file. It can be found in recent options of the app. After finding the file, click on the three dots it shows on the file. Then turn on link sharing by clicking the link sharing option. It will say link sharing is turned on after clicking. Then click the copy link option to copy link of the PDF file you uploaded. Open the Google Sheets link given to you and then paste the link in the respective cell of the sheet. Mind it, when you are asking your students to fill in their details or uploading their details in the Google Drive, you need to give them editing rights. Otherwise, they cannot edit. I have given you editing rights so that you can fill in the spreadsheet given to you. The link is provided to you in the chat box. Now it's a feedback time. Please fill in your feedback in the link provided to you in your chat box. Thank you and have a nice day.